Right, it's been a busy few weeks in the boxing world. Not many men can have been much busier than Adam Booth, who joins us now as well. Adam, hello.
How you doing?
How are you? It's just like one of those shows today. It's like a whole big party.
So, Adam, first of all, yesterday in Kiev or Berlin or somewhere, Vladimir Klitschko announces June 20th, David Haye, Stamford Bridge. Now, I'm just thinking that perhaps we should know about this, if it's happening, or if it's happened, or if it's signed and sealed.
Well, it's with the contract with the lawyers. It's bouncing backwards and forwards, but they've agreed to do the fight. I think that Vitaly and Vladimir were spinning a coin between the two of them as to who was going to fight David. Vitaly wanted to do it. I think they viewed David as a threat. Maybe Vladimir's pride was hurt and said, I don't need Big Brother to protect me on this occasion. And so Vladimir stepped up. Now we're working on June the 20th. Yes, we're speaking to Chelsea, and hopefully we're going to be making a big announcement in 2 weeks.
Because the other thing is, he said if it doesn't happen, if the contracts aren't signed with David, I'll fight Areola on May 18th or whatever. Was that just a smokescreen?
Maybe not. No, Areola wants to fight.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that it's not a fight that people want to see, and even without being biased. And also the fight with David makes them more money, so in every sense it's better for him. The only reason why the fight wouldn't happen is if he genuinely doesn't want it, and I believe he does. So
well, that's good.
We're pretty much there.
Rodri, you're going to introduce David, or
go ahead. You're on a roll. I'm just sitting here trying to keep the peace.
It's been a while, but you've managed to secure David Price's services about 6 minutes before the press conference on Tuesday, I'm reliably told. David, long while Beijing seems to me a long while ago. Is it still fresh in your mind, that bronze medal, or is it?
It seems even longer to me, to be honest, Steve. And people were quizzing me on what I was going to do so much, but I wanted to take me time. I had a few things to sort out in my private life after the Olympics, so I took my time, and it looks as though I made the best decision possible for myself.
Have there been have you sat down with lots of promoters, and have they made lots of offers? Have you been close to signing before you officially signed on Tuesday?
Yeah, well, I have spoken to other people, but nothing really jumped out of the water at me as really attractive until I got the phone call off Adam. And as I said, before he even mentioned financial terms, he told me about the training package, who was going to be training with David Haye and himself in the training camps in Cyprus, and what he wanted me to do within my career. And straight away I knew, without even hearing the financial terms, that this was going to be the right deal.
Because so much of a heavyweight's work is done, I think those first couple of years is done in the gym, far more, in my opinion, than any other weight. The heavyweights, if you're not doing the work in the gym, if you're not working with good sparring partners. I remember with Herbie Hyde, Chris, he had American sparring partners all the way through, so he might be knocking guys over in a round, but he was doing hard 10 and 8 rounds in the gym. So that's apart from David, would he just work with David, Adam, or are you thinking elsewhere?
No, David's got his own career and his own potential. Training alongside David while he's getting ready for a World Heavyweight Championship fight will help the pair of them, because if anyone can replicate Vladimir Klitschko being big with a good jab, it'll be David. But also working with the sparring partners that David will be working with, and being in that environment for the outset of his career will be a great springboard into his career. But obviously that's only a small part of it.
And when's David out? When you're out, Dave?
28th of March in Liverpool, which is again ideal for me because it's in my home city and the Echo Arena, which is just a bonus, really.
Fantastic. Before I let you go, Adam, Lindsay Appleby, has it been rearranged? When's it been rearranged for?
April the 25th in Belfast. Can I just say a couple of things?
Of course you can, brother.
Firstly, because I'm a fan of this show, Steve.
I like that.
Even though you give me grief. Firstly, Reg Gutteridge was the type of journalist I think that every journalist should aspire to be like. I was fortunate enough to have dinner with him a few months ago, and that was the first time I'd met him. And growing up watching all the great fights in the 80s and 70s, it was Reggie's voice and his commentary, and so rest in peace. Also, Chris, David and I were at the BBC Sports Personality a few weeks ago, and we were sitting down at breakfast, and we met your two sons. They were sitting there, and the one thing that stood out, and David and I commented on it, is firstly how strong and how well postured they were, but also how disciplined they appeared to be as well. That they were polite, dignified, and held themselves in good form. So whoever it was that who wrote this nonsense article, we should hang them. Can I also say, I'll say it to the camera as well, and that's, which one am I talking to?
That one there.
James Buckley in Ireland, with regards to your son Owen. David and I will be in Belfast for the Lindsay Appleby fight on April the 25th. So there'll be two tickets for you and Owen, David would like to meet the both of you and also give you what you request. So we'll see you April 25th.
That's a guy that sent in a request for an injured and a poorly son. Chris, sorry?
Can I just say thank you for your observation. That's very sharp of you and accurate as well. Not blowing smoke in my own face. I wanted to say to David that particular evening, I wanted to talk to him because obviously being a past fighter, I have knowledge and experience of which I often pass over to fighters. And someone else, a lady, was actually talking to me, and I turned, and David came and shook my hand, and I turned to somebody else, and then he left. And it was quite sad because I didn't really get to talk to him, but what I would have told him is this: as I would do all fighters, the young fighters, stay away from fame, stay away from gifts. You have to work, you have to fight, you have to spar. Sparring is number one. People who give you gifts, they kill your hunger. Fame kills your hunger. Like, as you're a young fighter, people are asking you for your autographs. Don't be fooled to think that you've done anything. You need to earn your position. And to do that, it is sparring. As much as you can, spar. I mean, everything else, I'll give credibility to nothing else. Sparring is number one. If you spar with lightweights, don't hit them. They'll beat you up. When you're getting beaten up in the gym, it is good for you. Fighters who have it their own way most of the time end up getting stopped, end up becoming white elephants. The perfect example is Audie Harrison. Money destroys you. I believe they've given this young fighter James DeGale $1 million, or
we hear it's something like that.
Well, I guarantee you he'll fail. I guarantee you.
Not because of his talent, but because of they can rob his hunger.
It robs your hunger. I fought Michael Watson back in 1991. I wanted respect, which is why I got up off the floor in the 11th round. I got up to carry on because I didn't yet have respect. When people give you money, when people give you fame, when they take the photograph of you, you may start thinking, you know what, I've got respect. But that's not respect. Respect is when people come up to you and they go like this, geezer, you're a geezer. But to get that, you have to be able to take a beating. Okay, and it's taking beatings every day in the gym. When I say beatings, not being on top all the time. If you're on top all the time, it means you're going to be a white elephant. When you're getting beaten up, that's when you're learning. So money, fame, that brings girls. Girls will destroy you. I'm telling my boys this every single day. So that's what I wanted to say to David, even though I've actually given my conversation on my eye contact to the young man here.
To another day.
Steve, you don't deserve this type of show. You're getting your money's worth
It's
here.
a staggering.
Unfortunately, there goes the bell again, Chris. I can't believe that. At this point, can I thank you very much, Chris Eubank. Lovely to see you. Thank you very much. Thank you also to Adam Booth and David Price. Best wishes for the 25th of March.
28th
of March.
28th.
I think it's somebody else's birthday on the 25th.
Live on Satanta, by the way.
Live on Satanta. Thank you very much. The 28th of March. David Price. Thank you very much. Right. Believe it or not, there's still plenty to come on Bunce's Boxing Hour. We speak to the Duke, Tommy Morrison. Now that's a story for you. Welcome back to Bunce's Boxing Hour here on Satanta Sports. Buncey, what are the emails saying after that? Adam Booth we had David Price, we had Chris Eubank there.
The instant ones are saying that what a legend Eubank is, and that doesn't really sum it up. Reg Gutteridge himself called him one of the bravest men, if not the bravest man he'd ever met in the ring. One or two here saying, would Chris have fancied his chances? This is from Richard Gordon. He said, would Chris have fancied his chance against a prime Kawasaki or a prime Roy Jones? Well, Joe's too much of a gentleman. Chris is too much of a gentleman to say, yeah, I'd knock them out. And he said, I thought Joe Kozaki was a very, very hard fighter. Roy Jones didn't want to fight me. My personal opinion, I'd love to have seen him. He was avoided. He was like Harold Graham was with Hagler. The Americans didn't want anything to do with our boys. They didn't want to touch Ben after he destroyed Iran Barkley. Didn't want to touch Eubank. Those are facts. The offers, the deals are on the table. We think Joe's had a hard time cracking the American market. We think Ricky had a hard time cracking the American market. This guy was absolutely avoided. Some of my finest nights ever at ringside were with Eubank, and not just in the big fights, not 42,000 people at the Theatre of Dreams in the draw with Ben, in the smaller fights, the Logan fights, the fights buried in Brentwood Town Hall, the fights buried at York Hall. Which moves us on nicely to our next guests.
That show for us,
you couldn't. I'll tell you what I'm going to round out. First of all, let's hope we have an image of Reg at the end, but there's an email from Clive Joseph, and he says, Chris Eubank, heart of a lion, chin of iron. And Reg described him as the bravest fighter, toughest fighter I've ever seen, and that included Sonny Liston at his peak.
And he paid a lovely tribute, Chris Eubank did, to Reg Gutteridge, who died on January the 24th.
You enjoy